So another on the road video. Me rambling on a bit. Today we are going in the opposite direction from Laurín de la Torre, where our office is, and we are heading to the ITV station in a place called El Palo. So I thought it would be a good idea to have a chat about what we're going to see and how to get here. So I recently did a video on how to book an appointment at the ITV station, and then I did book an appointment, and then I cancelled it. Then I booked another one. Then I cancelled it. Then I realised, because I couldn't find an appointment that matched, that I needed one pretty quick. So the best advice when you're doing it anywhere in Andalusia and you're using the details from the previous video that I published on this channel, is just keep checking every minute. So I really needed to get my vehicle through an ITV before Thursday, and there was no appointments at all showing until May. But then I suddenly got one at 7:30 in the morning. That came up, that popped up late last night. I booked it. My wife, and she told me because you have to drop the kids at 8:15 because she had a, so that wasn't going to work. I went back in the system very late last night and managed to grab Palo, which is actually away from the office, at 1:30. So yeah, always keep checking. So we're on the mass now, the A7. I think it's A7 this is, because it's not the pay road. Going over Malaga City, and this road drops you to the east. So you obviously know, to show you this. There you go. You can see there Ciudad Jardín and Rosaleda. So that's where you turn off to go to the Rosaleda football stadium. It drops you straight into where the stadium is. Great to go to the Rosaleda football stadium. It's a great atmosphere there. Lovely stadium. Fortunately, Malaga aren't doing that well at the moment. For a while, it's hard to believe that they were once in Europe. To be in Europe, or they were in Europe. Can't remember now. Flying high, and now they're not doing very well after a financial scandal. They've never really recovered. This is now the turn. Go up the A45 to you get to Antequera. Also takes you inland to Córdoba and Sevilla. Remember, there is 86, which is a paved road. The road here is the old road, the A40 paved road. On that road. That's also the turn. That's the turn off of the A45. If you stay, there's actually a roundabout. You can come off close to the Botanic Gardens, which actually you can turn off on that exit for the in Malaga. They are fantastic. Get a chance to come to Malaga, go to the Botanic. It's definitely worth a lovely sandwich in your backpack and have a walk around. I think. And at Christmas, they do Christmas lights there in this world. Often events up there. You'll find right in the gardens. There's a gallery type thing where they do things in there times, and just by coincidence, the local artists giving exhibitions and stuff. east side of the city now. Back from east to west, it's just a fantastic view. You can see that out of the camera, probably not. It really is a fantastic view. Did you realise the Malaga is huge? Now we're coming to the east side, so if you are visiting Malaga and you want to eat with locals, then the east side of Malaga, along where El Palo is, where we're going, is the fantastic eat seafood, and it hasn't changed a lot. You can go just Malaga centre. You've got which is a lovely beach and has a couple of restaurants on it. Continue going east from there. El Palo. Now Palo is where the famous restaurant. So the restaurant is for years. Actually, Tintero too. You know, there's another one. It's the most famous one, and they walk around food shouting, "It's this, who wants that?" You say, "Yep, I'll have that." They throw it on your bill, and in the end they count up the plates. There's the plates. There's big long ones, large, XL, large and medium. They also bring around here and Tinto de Verano, which is like a red wine mix with Fanta, basically drink for some. And funnily, they're on Groupon the other day as well. I don't know why. They're on Groupon. So to get to that next exit, because bus links from centre of Malaga as well. See, now around the corner is everybody braking frantically for the most famous speed camera in. So everybody bombs down the speed camera, which is at 80, just above all these sides. Speeding off. There we go. And our exit is going to be the next one. Go to the ITV station. The ITV station. Called El, actually it's past El Palo. There's something called the Spider Beach. Once saw the beach, very rare. I'm a person, so I don't go on boats to see dolphins. Here from lots lots of parts on the Mediterranean. You can just go and see dolphins. But we were there once, and we looked in the distance and went, wow, look at dolphins in the distance. And as we were looking in the distance, they're just so close to us. It was amazing. Right, jumped up in front of us. There you go, Playa Araña. Again, it's very, very, very small. People locally go there and use it, but people can actually. And then we take this exit. You literally drive over. The motorway goes over the top of the ITV station, tucked away. Definitely Google Maps, even if you to find it. It's a terrible exit because you have to bend and watch for people on your left. Just be aware. And at the bottom of the road, it gives no indication at all where the is. So you have to take a right here. Once again, no indication where the ITV station actually is. And this crossing here, coming round. I believe in Malaga. I don't think they've painted it since they're nice. Just a couple of lanes. You can one or two here. Okay, so we're going to go again. No, doing so. So what we're going to do is we are going to stick our car here. I don't think there's parking there. So let's keep out the way. All the people waiting. So there we go. Drive over Malaga, a little bit of information. So that's just booked in to the ITV. It's very simple. You just go, make sure you've got a card on you. You always have to pay by card now. You can't pay by cash. And when you go to the machine, it will say, have you got an appointment in Spanish? Tienes una cita? Press yes and put in your number plate. There you go. You'll get a receipt. Now these machines are great. You can actually pay. So if you're just coming to a normal appointment, there's no need to wait and go to the counter. You can pay at the machine. And you'll receive a receipt. This receipt here I've just got, ours was €30 and 36 cents for a 10% discount for having the ITV on time, for not having an expired ITV, and for a petrol engine. We're just waiting for the number to pop up on the machine. So we have it's on the panel. So you have this big panel outside where all the number plates are, and you check that panel out, and when your number comes up, you go to that line. Unfortunately, we can't record inside. I didn't want to get in trouble for that, so can't do a lot. But what I'll do is I'll do a little video outside once we're through and we're past. Don't forget that you need to bring with you, well, this is controversial really, I think, because they always say you need to bring your original permiso de circulación, which is your ownership document. There you go. And I'll put a link to a document that you have to carry, all the documents you have to carry in your car below this video. But if you pay on the machine, they don't normally check it, to be honest. But what does need to be checked is your ficha técnica, this document here. Now, for recent cars, for newer cars, you get a document like this. Is white. It's a digital document, and it just looks like a piece of paper, unfortunately. But for older cars, you'll get the full blue sheets, and even older cars get a little A5 version. But the Ficha Tecnica, oh, here we go, we're off. Ficha Tecnica is a very important part of the process. So, we'll do a little video when we get out past. Okay, so that's us past. Here we go. You can see there the sticker in the window to 2025. So we've got our 2 years on the ITV. Just a couple of things there actually, but are just worth noting. These new fixtures, these Ficha Tecnicas. I said the old ones are green or blue if you get the A4 ones, but for new vehicles they're now issued these. It's just pieces of paper, and they're digital ones, and they don't do anything with them, so they don't stamp the back of them anymore. They just give you your sticker and your pass sheet, and you have to take the date of your ITV from your pass sheet. So if you are buying a newer vehicle and you get given one of these, A, they don't look like they're real, to be honest, but they are, as long as they've got the barcode at the bottom. And B, you have to keep in your car now the pass sheet. Okay, so you have to keep that in, because that is the bit which proves you passed the ITV. Albeit, chatting to the guy, said when the police stop you, they've got your details using your number plate anyway, and your NIE number evidently. But it's worth keeping that in. And I did ask him about the permiso. I said, look, we always tell people they have to take permiso, up to the point where sometimes people have been and they're waiting for the permiso because in the process of getting a transfer, and they haven't let them do the ITV. Well, it turns out here they don't even ask for it if you pay at the machine itself. So there you go, more experiences here. Okay then, so that's it, we are done. Car's passed and we're going to have a drive back. So, El Palo ITV. Funnily enough, we turned up at, what time did we turn up? We turned up at around 1:15, which was earlier than our appointment. Our appointment was 1:37. We got in at, the ticket was taken out at 1:25 according to the information on the ticket, and we were out with me messing about with a few videos as well. We were in and out now it's less than quarter, it's 12 minutes past 2, so I'd say we were out at 5 past, so that was good. Less than an hour to get your car MOT'd in Spain, or ITV'd as we say, Inspección Técnica del Vehículo. Online booking appointments, easy peasy. If your car fails, remember you've got 60 days to take it back, but in theory all you're supposed to do is go to the garage and back to get it fixed. You can't be driving it around with a fail. The principles of the inspection, like any car inspection, says this is done on a line. So you go through a line, the guy meets you at the front of the line, he takes your paperwork, he does an initial visual inspection of all the seat belts, the windows, hints and tips. It gives you hints and tips while we're driving back, shall we, for the ITV. Okay then, so if evidently all your lights have to be working, so you have to, all your indicators, your fog lights, they check those, they check the headlights, they all need to side lights. Any lights you've got in the car all have to be working. What you'll find is if you've got a British vehicle and this is the first time you're going for an ITV, remember that the headlights have to be suitable for left-hand driving, which a lot of the time means replacing the headlights when you're registering a vehicle. Inside they check the seat belts to make sure that they're all working properly. They also check the windows. If you have window tints, they have to be done by an authorised installer and have an EU certificate stamp on them, which in the UK that doesn't happen. So a lot of the time they'll just install window tints and no one has to verify that they're a EU standard, and people bring their vehicles here and they fail the initial test because they don't have the stamp on them. What a lot of people do in those circumstances, you can see how beautiful Malaga looks over there in the distance with the sea. What a lot of people do in those circumstances, they go to an installer and they ask them to homologate the actual tins which are in the car itself. Not 100% correct, because what that person is doing is saying he fitted them and here's a stamp to say they're legal, but it happens, it goes on. And people pass using those certificates. So they check the window tints to make sure they're legal. Then inside, the guy or lady who's doing the inspection will jump in the vehicle. They'll just have a general look around the steering wheel to make sure there's nothing hanging off, that the steering wheel moves properly, and they have a check around all the knobs and buttons to make sure there's nothing dangerous. They then plug in, depending on the age of your vehicle, they will then plug in the OBD machine to check, see if they're showing any engine faults or anything on there. Then they do the emissions test, so they check the emissions of the vehicle. They do that while the OBD machine is plugged in, if your vehicle is of an age that they use that. Years, not so much now, but years ago you used to turn up to the ITV station when we used to go, and there'd be people outside just revving their cars, crazy revving going on. I always remember it. Nowadays you don't really get it with modern cars, but back then, that's one of my first memories, going to an ITV in Tarragona in the north of Spain, and people just revving these engines, and I was thinking, God, that can't be good. So they do that. They check the OBD. They check the angle of the headlights, actually. So that's going back to what I was saying, using a Canon machine to make sure it's got the right beam spread at the right height, you're not blinding anybody. They then open the bonnet, and they always ask you to press 4 or 5 times down on the brake pedal, which shows that the brake fluid is working correctly. They then check the levels and the general condition of the engine. During that process, while they're looking around the car, they take the documentation and check that the VIN number and the VIN manufacturer's plate matches the vehicle you're actually going with. So they do check that as well. Once they've finished that process, you then drive forward a little bit and you go on the brake machine. So you go on this machine which checks the brakes. A rolling road, you do your front wheels first. There's normally a screen off to your left hand side which has a fan, which basically is lit up slightly to the left of the fan in yellow. You have to maintain the brake in that yellow spot until that disappears, and then push down hard on the brake and then check the pressure of the brakes, make sure they're working. Once you've done the front brakes, you then go to the rears, and they do your rears first, and then they check your handbrake after that. Then comes the undercarriage inspection. You drive forward and you have like a shifting plate. I mean, when they're doing it, sometimes the older cars, I think they're going to fall to bits. I tell you, it's quite violent, this plate thing. But you drive onto the plate with your front wheels. They give you a radio, which they then talk to you through, and they'll say move the steering wheel left and right quickly. So they're just checking the steering mechanism at the bottom. They then move the plates left and right to check the suspension of the vehicle. They then tell you to drive forward. You put the rear wheels on. They tell you to apply the handbrake, and then they check the rear suspension and a general undercarriage check. Basically, you'll see now we're just going past the exit for the Botanic Gardens and the football ground on the east coast. So we're going east to west now over Malaga, east to west. Once they've done that, and I'm trying to remember now, all this I'm just remembering from the test we've just been through, you drive forward and they say, okay, yeah, your car's either failed or it's passed. Please go and park up and wait for your documents. If it's passed, they'll give you your pass sheet with a sticker. The sticker then has to go to the top right hand corner of the windscreen and indicates the month and year which it will need to pass again. It doesn't indicate the exact day. One of the biggest things that people mistake is that when you get your sticker and it says, for example, April 2025, like mine does, I think I can take it at any time in April 2025. I can't. You have to look at your fail sheet, your pass sheet, to see when your actual appointment is, because that's just an indication in that sticker So any police or anybody who's checking, having a quick check of when it's supposed to pass, but it doesn't say the exact date, so be very, very, very careful of that. If it fails, as I said, they'll give you an indication on what it's failed on the fail sheet. You can get levies or graves. Levies are advisories and graves are fails. Once you've fixed that, then you can apply online again for an appointment, go back. Normally they'll give you them in a couple of days' time and get your pass. So there you go. That's if you're from the UK, that's what an MOT is like in Spain. And I can honestly say I don't know what an MOT is like in the UK. I left when I was 21, and before that my granddad dealt with my MOT. So now we're coming from east to west over Malaga on the A7. You'll see there's two roads here. There's the A7 Algeciras, Cordoba, Cartama. Then there's Malaga MA20. Malaga MA20 is the old road. It's what we used to use before they built the bypass. Now, if you want the bypass, you want to stick to the left here, and it take you bypass the whole of Malaga, bypasses the whole of Torremolinos. This is going to take you to the A7, which takes you to Marbella. So cracking road. That's the ITV test. Hopefully we can do a few more. It's a shame we can't record in the station itself. I did once do that and got in trouble, so I'm afraid we can no longer do that. Taking a drive back to the office, where no doubt we'll have lots of emails to answer. Over here on the right, I see a lot of donkeys. I'm not too sure if it's a donkey sanctuary. I might have to Google that. So this is the turn off now on the Malaga bypass on the AP, which is the pay road going up to Cordoba, Granada and Sevilla. You saw the A45 on the way in. Now this is the AP. I did do a video about this the other day, but then it cut off halfway through, so when I was coming from Granada. In non-peak times it's around €3.80 for that, and for peak times it's around €5.70, I believe, or the other way around, 3.75.80, I don't know. But it's well worth it. Well worth it. It's a great road. Gets you up there really quick. Probably takes about between 20-25 minutes to get from here to the Antequera A92 junction, which years and years ago would have taken 45 minutes down the old road. You'll see there's a turn off here for Almojía, which is just behind Puerto de la Torre. Very strange, but a lot of expats there. Almojía, I've seen a few who live there. Can't say as I've ever been, so I don't know why it attracts expats. It's just off of Malaga, so that might be that. It's not on the coast though, we're well inland at the moment on the bypass. We'll see where the people who join from the AP46 onto the A7 bypass of Malaga on the right hand side. We're at 5 lanes at the moment, that wheel's down to 4 again. It, I think, for today. So anyway, if you like the video, please subscribe, give us a comment below. Sometimes when we're doing these videos I think, wow, I wonder if people actually watch them. But sometimes if I colleague said the ones which are driving around, people like to see what it's like to drive around. Maybe they'll turn the volume down, but it's worth doing. So anyway, like the video, give us a comment below, and yeah, please subscribe to our channel.